All right. Welcome to Next Level Drums, nextleveldrumlessons.com, nextleveldrumlessons.com. So, today's lesson, we're going to talk about how to play the ride cymbal. This is a lesson geared towards beginning drummers, especially if you are in a school band, maybe middle school band, high school band, and you have a little playing experience under your belt. You have the basic coordination down. But we're going to talk about how to really take your drumming to another level by incorporating the ride cymbal. So let's get to it. All right, so the ride cymbal. I have a ride cymbal here. Let's talk about the parts of the ride cymbal very quickly. So we understand that basically a ride cymbal can serve in the same position playing wise as the hi-hat. Whatever you play on the hi-hat, you can play on the ride cymbal. But you're going to get different sounds depending on where you hit the cymbal. So of course you have the bell in the center. You also have what's called the bow, or kind of the middle of the ride. It starts to curve depending on how the cymbal is made. And then, of course, you have the rim or the edge. And you're going to get three different sounds from all those different places. The bell, the bow, and the edge. Now, one thing I want to make sure we clear up, when you play the bell of the ride, I used to make this mistake a lot. Of course, obviously, we play with the tip of our stick for just about everything else. But when you play with the bell, I hope you can see that, I'm playing with the shaft of the stick, this part right after the tip. It's going to give it a stronger sound. It's going to cut through the music. And typically when it's time to go to the bell of the ride, that's what you want. You want it to cut. So here's the tip of the stick. And there are different types of ride cymbals, different weights. You're going to get different sounds. If it's a heavier ride, it may be a drier sound, shorter sustain. This particular ride is medium weight. It's a Zildjian K-Custom dark ride, and it's older. I've had it for a while. So a nice all-purpose ride. Okay. So if you're in a jazz band, obviously you have to play the ride. And I'm talking a little bit about the jazz technique, which is a little bit different than what you would do if you're in a church situation, church drummers, or any other style. But with jazz, you want to let this cymbal breathe. So that means you have to develop finger control, where you can kind of get away with playing more wrist or whatever your general technique is in the other styles. For jazz, it just doesn't sound right unless you develop a lighter touch. And the way you develop a lighter touch is to make sure that you're using your fingers. Okay, so I'm just going to play, and I'm not going to talk as much, but I'm going to play and let you hear some of the differences depending on how I'm holding the stick, how I'm approaching the ride. Now, so that's in the jazz style, developing the jazz ride, making sure that you'll notice what sounds best is if you actually develop a lighter touch, not a heavy overhand approach, but you actually turn your wrist. And the reason you do that is because you're not using your wrist, you're using your fingers. So the finger motion is here, so you turn so that you can get to the ride and develop that lighter sound. Let it breathe. Make sure you hear every note. And I am playing more in the middle, in the bow. I'm not playing towards the edge. I'm not playing the bell. Now, in other styles of music, a lot of young drummers, they are, especially in the church setting, very comfortable kick, snare, hi-hat, kick, snare, hi-hat, very accomplished. But if you really want to take the playing to the next level, if you really want to take the song to the next level, incorporate the ride, okay? This typically is where you're going to use your bell. You may use your bow, but a lot of times you're going to use the bell. So I'm just going to play a really simple groove, okay? And then I'm going to go from the hi-hat to the ride. So that's where you start. Whatever you do on the hi-hat, take it over to the ride. Then you can start to develop different patterns on your ride. For instance, if you're playing that same groove, when you get to the ride on the bell, you may want to simplify it. Instead of playing eighth notes, you may only want to play quarter notes. Now, what am I doing? I'm still playing eighth notes, but I'm only taking the quarter note portion to the bell. So and let me switch that up. I'm playing the upbeats. I'm playing the ands on the bell. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? You can switch it and do it either way. You can do quarter notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or you can switch it the other way and do the upbeat, 1. All right, so let's hear that in context. nextleveldrumlessons.com. Again, that is nextleveldrumlessons.com.